Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to talk about the digital mafia and how, although the traditional mafia is still operating in the United States, there's a new mafia in town that's way more powerful than the traditional mafia. See, the traditional mafia had a lot of enemies, a lot of internal wars. They had to deal with the FBI and law enforcement. They had a lot of enemies. So it was easier to get whacked or get arrested, and have rats in your ranks with the traditional mafia. There were a lot more forces involved in every transaction. Every transaction was life or death. But the digital mafia is far more powerful. With very little repercussions. There are no internal wars, there are no massacres, there are no arrests, there are only fines. So the only thing that have changed is they have gone from arresting the mob bosses, their lieutenants, their street soldiers, their foot soldiers, their capos, to just handing out fines. That's the only difference. But that's better for the digital mafia because their organization stays intact. See, the organization stays intact because you don't have to worry about nobody going to federal court, going to prison, and all those things. So the organization still operates after you pay the fine. You got to remember, these companies are making, the traditional mafia wish they could operate as stealthily, as smoothly as the digital mafia. So your traditional mafia got to deal with a lot of humans. Drug trafficking, gambling, racketeering, controlling unions. Those mafias are still there. But there are a lot of hands that got to be paid. There are a lot of payoffs that have to happen to keep those operations enforced. There's a lot of physical violence, a lot of threats that must happen to keep those operations operational. But with your digital mafia, the algorithm is the boss. The algorithm is the kingpin, the boss of everything. And the thing about it is, for the most part, in a traditional mafia, it was centralized. It was centrally located, like they had like a headquarters, and they had to have sit downs in these meetings. See, but with the new digital mafia, the algorithms, they are all over the world. The algorithm is worldwide. These engineers are worldwide. They're in India. They're in Africa. They're in Australia. They're in Europe. They're in Central and South America. They're in Canada. They're in the United States. They're on every continent all over the world. This algorithm, this huge conglomerate of capos are out here, and you can't. It's almost impossible to track them down. So the only thing they can do is find them, and it's very expensive to get the documentation together, to put all the pieces of the puzzle together to hold the digital mafia accountable. It's very expensive. It takes a lot of technology, a lot of experts. It's way harder to hold the digital mafia accountable than it is the traditional mafia. Because with the traditional mafia, they had wiretapping, they had snitches and rats that would go to court. It was more of a public spectacle. You could put a face on somebody that was in the traditional mafia. John Gotti, Joe the Gambino, Colombo, you can put a face on that person from the traditional mafia. But with the digital mafia, you notice like there's no face. It's just a name. So you can't. It's hard to hold somebody personally accountable for the racketeering that's going on. Guys, you got to remember that the RICO Act was created for the mafia. Racketeering, influence, criminal organization. The RICO Act was created for the mafia. It means racketeering, influence, criminal organization. That is what Doordash is. That is what Uber is. That is what Lyft is. That is what Amazon is. And that is what Instacart is. And I'm comparing them to the traditional mafia. I'm calling them the digital mafia. That's what they are. Now, first I'm going to read this new settlement that they have been going back and forth with Doordash for a few years about Doordash manipulating the algorithm and stealing tips. This is far more lucrative, guys. And I guarantee you that the mafia, they got their playbook from the mafia. The mafia's money and time are in these algorithms. If you read the diaries of Uber's playbook, they got a lot of their tactics from the mafia, from organized crime. Uber did. Uber is 100% a criminal organization. 100%. 100%. The mafia would be jealous that these digital mafias, the traditional mafia, will be jealous that the digital mafia they raking in billions of dollars with no blood being shed. In order for a traditional mafia to rake in even $1 million a week, folks had to die. Yeah, they had to have car bombs, kidnappings, threats. Like, folks were dying. Extortion, blackmail, all kind of stuff have to happen in order for the traditional mafia to maintain control. People were coming up missing all the time. Members in the group and family members outside the group were coming up missing. They had to pay off law enforcement because they were honorary members of the mafia. a lot of cops in New York, in Chicago, in Miami. They was paying them off left and right. But the digital mafia, they just pay off the government, politicians. They just pay them off. Nobody goes to jail. So anyway, guys, I'm going to read this article, and then I'm going to go to another. I'm going to go to another page, and I'm going to do a comparison. And I'm going to show you the power of the digital mafia. Let's read. It says, DoorDash will pay $16 million to New York delivery workers after misusing their tips. That means stealing their tips. DoorDash used customers' tips to pay workers' wages, but it must give that money back. So let me explain to you how this scam works. DoorDash is supposed to offer a base pay. So let's say that base pay is $5. And the base pay is per delivery. It's not an hourly wage. These drivers out here are all independent contractors. They do not work for DoorDash. They do not work for the restaurant they're picking the order up from. They do not work for the customer. They work for themselves. Okay? So DoorDash is not delivering your order. Okay? A Honda Civic with an individual inside is delivering your order. The individual independent company may be Jessica DoorDash, Johnny's DoorDash, Paul Delivery, Simon's Delivery, Monica's Delivery. Could be anything. DoorDash is not delivering your order. Okay? The restaurant is not delivering your order. A random individual is delivering your order. That random individual does not have a ranking. You don't really know anything about this random individual. Like the restaurant has a reputation. They have a real digital footprint online. Okay? DoorDash has a real digital footprint online. But DoorDash is just a platform that's being used to bring the restaurant and the customer together, and the driver's in the middle. Okay? So the restaurant pays DoorDash, DoorDash pays the driver, and you give the driver a tip because you pay. The customer pays DoorDash, the restaurant, and the driver. That's what makes it so idiotic for a customer to order through DoorDash. That shows you that the customer themselves are not intelligent. Why don't you just pay the restaurant and get your food? You're going to pay 3 people just to get your food at an inflated price? It's crazy to me. Anyway, so DoorDash, the base rate may be $2, $3, whatever it is. That's the base rate. So if the customer don't leave any tip, the driver gets $3. If the customer leaves a $5 tip, the driver gets $8. Okay, that's the way it works. So when the driver receives an order, accepts that order, it will say $8, 5 miles. Go to Chipotle and pick up this order. $8, 5 miles. That is it. And it will say this order includes the tip. It don't say how much the tip is. It just says it includes the tip. Okay? So, the driver go to Chipotle, pick up the order, deliver it to the customer. There's your $8. Now, we got to go through the back end and see what really happened here. So the driver look at the transaction, and it says base pay $3, tip $5. But is that really what happened? Is that really what happened? The answer is no. Because once the tip and the order are put together, there are individuals and algorithms and engineers that changes or modify the base pay and the tip ratio. So what actually happened is the customer left an $8 tip, not $5. They left an $8 tip. Or they left a $7 tip. So Doordash took, or just say they left a $7 tip. So Doordash took $2 away. So now your base pay is $1. And the customer gave you $7. You see that? Sometimes it's divided like that, or sometimes they can take away the entire base pay and a portion of the customer's tip. Okay? So let's say the base pay is $3 and the customer left $10. They give you $8. They'll take away the whole $3 plus $2 from the customer. Boom, you got $8. And the thing about it is, no alarms are going off because the algorithm knows this is about the area that you're expecting to get paid. Because every time you accept an order, the algorithm is creating a profile for the pay range that's where you won't flinch. You're not going to even think about it. Oh yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's reasonable. You know, because you're thinking as from a poverty level, the way you think. And you thinking that $8 is reasonable for 5 miles, even though you're supposed to get $13. $10 from the customer, $3 from Doordash. But since you don't know how much the customer actually left as a tip, you think the $8 is reasonable, but when in actuality, you should have gotten $13. $10 tip, $3 from Doordash. But no, Doordash stole $2 from the tip, took away the entire base pay of $3, and left you with $8. No one knows the wiser. Because there's no transparency. You have no idea how much tip the customer left you unless the customer told you specifically, I left you a $10 tip. But on your phone it says $8 tip included. So you say, that's impossible for you to leave me an $8 tip because where's my base pay? I mean a $10 tip, well, where's my base pay? So if you left me a $10 tip and the base pay is $2 or $3, it should be $12, $13. But you would never know. Because before that order gets to your phone, the money has been divided. Some over here, some over there, bam, 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 whatever. Anyway, guys, that's the end of that video, guys. Oh, I didn't read the article. Let's read the article. Okay. It says DoorDash is paying restitution. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make another video. I'm gonna read the article because it's been 20 minutes. All right, guys, that's the end of that video, guys. Remember, guys, keep your life clean, keep your car clean, keep your body clean, keep your mind clean, and keep your diet clean, guys. Drink plenty of spring water to flush out the toxins and chemicals and poisons in the food supply. Guys, you are being poisoned. You've been micro-poisoned every day. And since you're operating in your lower self, you are also poisoning your pets and your kids. Until next time, guys, I'm Contraband 777, and I'm signing off. Peace.